Hello everyone out there in Guitar Land, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be discussing how to find the notes on the guitar quickly and easily, okay? So, first we have to understand a few basic concepts. All modern Western music that we listen to is based on the piano, okay? So let's put the guitar down for just a minute and you'll understand what I'm talking about by the end, I promise. Okay, so if we take a look at my little cartoon piano over here, we need to know that there are white keys and black keys. And the black keys are right there, they're not quite colored in yet. But the musical alphabet, that's very important to learn. It goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it just starts at A again, okay? So that's the musical alphabet. Now, again, if we look at the piano, there's a lot of white keys, black keys. Some of you may have played before, a lot of you probably haven't. So I'll go through and explain the basic layout of the piano. The piano is very simple. It goes from left to right, okay? It's two-dimensional. So it's very easy to see and understand. Now, if we look here at the piano, this is black keys, okay? So we have white key, black key, white key, black key, white key, another black key. If we look at this grouping of keys right here, we have two black keys that are sort of close together that kind of look like eyes and a little face, all right, if we just look at this little grouping of keys. Here we have a grouping of three black keys, kind of look like a three-eyed monster, so like a three-eyed monster face, all right? And again, that repeats. We have the two-eyed monster, little face, and then the three-eyed monster, big face. So we're grouping this basic chunk of the piano and then this basic chunk of the piano, and then that repeats. So the piano is made up of these little chunks. Now if you look at this little two-faced monster here, and you look on this cheek of the monster, let's say that this is a C. This white key, this note here, is a C, okay? The nose of the little face is a D. This cheek would be an E. All right? If we keep filling in these keys, it just follows the alphabet. F, G, A, B, okay? So, why did we start on C? Just because we chose a place that would look familiar. Little face, this cheek of the little face. Now if we look over at this little face and look at this same cheek, it's going to be a C again. You see that? C, D, E, F, G, A, B. See, after G it comes to A again. B, C. Then the nose is D again. Then E. It's a weird looking E. F, G, A, B. And it repeats and repeats and repeats. So as low as it goes this way and as high as it goes that way, it's just those same 7 notes over and over and over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? Same holds true on the guitar. Now, a very important thing to know on the piano is that the white keys are the natural notes and the black keys are called accidentals. That's just a term, a musical theory term. It's not something you really need to memorize or remember. But just so that you know, they're called accidentals. Why? Well, these are where the sharps and flats come in. I'm sure you've heard something about that before. So I'm actually going to erase all this on the top right now so that we can make a clear diagram. Alright, so this black key here that's sitting in between C and D actually has 2 names, and each of the black keys have 2 names. This black key, like I said, can be C sharp because it comes after the C and it's a higher pitch than the C, okay? Or it could be called D flat because it's before the D and it's lower than the D. So it could be called a C sharp or a D flat. Another term for that is enharmonic. Fancy, fancy. Again, you don't need to know that. You don't need to remember it. But just, you know, in your little bank of knowledge, they're called accidentals. It's enharmonic because it has 2 names, whatever. Just know that this key in between C and D could be called a C sharp because it comes after C, or a D flat because it's before D. So if we move on to the next grouping here, there's a key, a black key in between D and E. That would be called D sharp, and sharp is signified by a pound sign, or a little tic-tac-toe symbol. And it could also be called, because it's before E, an E flat. Flat sign is like a lowercase b that's a little bit pointy on the bottom here. This one isn't so pointy. Maybe it should be a little more pointy. Okay, good. Move over here. There's no black key in between E and F. We'll get back to that in a minute. So between F and G, there is a black key. Therefore, there's an F sharp, or it could be called a G flat. Okay, are you getting the hang of this so far? Here, there's a black key between G and A, so it could be called a G sharp or an A flat. Okay? Here, there's a black key between A and B, so you probably guessed it, A sharp or a B flat. Okay? Same thing holds true in the next octaves. It's called an octave when the notes repeat. Alright? So from this C to that C, that's an octave. Same note, just slightly higher in pitch. Okay? So, this would be a C sharp and a D flat, a D sharp or an E flat, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, and it would just keep on going and going and going as long as the piano goes. Piano has 88 keys, I think. What do I know? I'm just a guitar player, but yeah, I think it has 88 keys, and it just keeps on going the length of the piano, right? So that's the basic concepts. Now, the smallest step that you can take on the piano would be from one key, like the C, to the key directly next to it. So there happens to be a black key directly next to it. That's the smallest step you can take. That's called a half step, okay? So, or a semitone. Half step, semitone means the same thing, all right? So, C to C sharp, or D flat, same note, but C to C sharp is a half step or a semitone. C sharp to D, that's another half step. D to D sharp, half step. D sharp or E flat to E, half step. So I think you're getting the idea there. The smallest step you can take from one key to the next is a half step. Now, a whole step, okay, or a whole tone would be skipping a half step, or adding two half steps together would be more accurate. So if you're going from C to D, that's a whole step, or a whole tone. A half and a half equals a whole, okay? So now, from D to E would be a whole tone. Because D to D sharp is a half, D sharp to E is a half and half equals a whole. Another one would be C sharp to D sharp, okay? Or D flat to E flat, or C, well, you rarely say C sharp to E flat, but whatever. Same thing, you're going from a half step plus another half step equals a whole step, okay? And that works all the way across the piano. Now, remember I always said there's no black key in between E and F. That's significant. There's also a set of keys over here, B and C, where there's no black key in between. Now, that's what creates our little face, big face kind of pictures. But it's very important to know because between the E and the F, there is no black key. That means there's no E sharp or F flat, okay? So, if you need this, rewind it and pause. I'm about to delete it. Goodbye, sharps and flats for a minute. Okay, so here, there's no black key. No black key between E and F and between B and C. Okay? So there's no black key between E and F and B and C. What does that mean for us? It means that there is no... Let me get rid of that stem. There's no E sharp or F flat. And there's no B sharp or C flat. It's a really ugly C, but whatever, you get the idea, okay? So, knowing that basic knowledge will take you all over the guitar neck. Now you're asking me, how the heck does knowing what the notes on the piano have anything to do with the notes on the guitar? Well, I'm about to show you. So now if we look at the guitar and we apply this knowledge to the guitar, it will really help, and it will also help if I have my amp on. So hang on one second while I turn that on. Alright. Yes. With an acoustic guitar, I would not have to worry about that. I have one, I just don't have it with me right now. Okay. So, what do we have to remember? Little face, big face. The natural notes are the white keys of the piano. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it just keeps repeating. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The notes in between, these black keys, have two names each. They borrow it from their neighbors. So it could be a C sharp or a D flat. This would be a D sharp or an E flat. F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat. Okay? There's two sets of keys with no black key in between them. So, there's nothing in between E and F, and there's nothing in between B and C. That means that there is no such thing as an E sharp or an F flat, and there's no such thing as a B sharp or a C flat, at least not in the way that we're thinking, okay? In some higher degrees of theory, they refer to a C as a B sharp, because this is the next note after B. Or they refer to B as a C flat, because that's the note that's before C. But that really just gets confusing. Forget about that. This is a B, that's a C. There's no such thing as what's in between them, okay? Great. Back to the guitar.